Now that I've posted my Neverkeep recap, I wanted to talk about some thoughts or like theories I have for book 2 and the rest of the series before getting into Echo Fort. Some of these are from back in September, October 2024, whenever I first read Neverkeep. Some of these are from doing my reread. I could be completely wrong about all of these. Some of these could be right. I just think theorizing is fun. It is the whole reason I even started my pages 3 whatever years ago, because I wanted to be able to talk about Zodiac Academy and theorize about Zodiac Academy in between book releases. So I think this is fun. Let me know in the comments if you agree with any of my theories, disagree, if you have any additional theories that I may have not thought about. I think this is a lot of fun. Right off the bat, Everest is the only character we get a rising sign for. She's a Pisces with Aries rising. I don't know if that's going to be important going forward or not, but I just thought it was interesting that no other characters' rising signs were mentioned. One thing that I've heavily entertained or thought since I first read Neverkeep is the idea that Everest isn't actually Commander Rake's daughter. He's kind of written her off her whole life, but pays attention to Ransom and her older sisters. Everest says multiple times how she looks like her mother, not the commander. The commander gave Ransom and her sisters the last name Rake, but she goes by her mother's last name Arcadia and says that only father's true heirs were given her father's surname. Additionally, Everest is 8 years younger than the youngest of her older sisters, and she says, I didn't understand why my father had spent 8 more years trying for another heir from my mother's womb, but what if he hadn't? What if he knew that she possibly wasn't his, and that's why he's never given her a chance to show her strength or prove herself, because she's not actually one of his heirs? Building off of that, I also wonder if Everest and Vesper could maybe be half-sisters. When asked in a Facebook Live a while back, they were either asked if the series was about sisters like ZA or if it was about twins like ZA. I forget exactly how it was worded, but all Caroline and Susanne said was not twins, so they didn't say not sisters. I could just be reading into that, but Everest and Vesper have trusted each other, even though by all instinct, training, indoctrination, they shouldn't, and they've both mentioned feeling some sort of like connection-ish between them. Vesper was meant to be born a water sign, but was born early as an air sign, so if they have a parent in common, the water sign makes sense. Vesper also has only ever mentioned her mother, but never mentions knowing her father, and if Everest isn't actually Commander Rake's child, maybe they have the same father. I don't know. I thought it was interesting that in the very beginning, before the time jump, Vesper didn't want Dahlia wielding any fire for risk of Prince Dragor knowing, even though her order was Chimera, so it should have been an order gift. I'll put a screenshot of the conversation here, but that just felt really odd to me that she wanted her to hide this fire ability. I don't know. There's a line towards the end of book 1 where Bastion mentions feeling a sort of connection with Vesper, even though I don't think he even knows her name at that point. I don't know. I don't know if it's just that they're both these like lonely broken souls, or if there's a deeper connection, like maybe they're Elysian mates or something. On that same vein, when Kaiser seals the soul tie with a kiss, Everest mentions feeling the stars watching them. So I don't know if this is like part of their tests or trials or whatever for the Elysian mate bond or something, but the fact that she felt the stars watching was really interesting to me. Kaiser, I think, is a really interesting character that I'm excited to learn more about, because the way he comes across and the way like his emotions are and the way Everest has felt around him, it almost feels like he's maybe been like dark coerced. I don't even know if that's a thing in the Waning Lands, but he feels something when him and Everest are fighting when she broke into the Flamebringer's tower for that party, and he ended up clutching his chest because he like felt something, and then he kicked her out and asked, what did you do to me? So we know that she's the Void and has the power of Null, and she's been able to like get rid of these magical barriers and stuff without realizing or like knowing how she did it. So maybe she unintentionally used that like power of Null against some of his dark coercion. I have no idea. But if he is dark coerced or something, my money would be on the matriarch maybe having done it to him. I don't know. I know that a big piece of Everest's focus in book 1 has been on freeing Harlan, but now that he's passed that assessment, like at the end of the book, whenever we find out that Everest is the Null, does that make him officially a Reaper? Because that was like their big thing, like big ritual or whatever. If he is officially a Reaper now, I'm afraid that his loyalties will lie with the Reapers, since they seem to be very just pro-Reaper if you're a Reaper, but hopefully his love for Everest outweighs that if he is. Who knows? Mavis makes me anxious, and I don't think I trust him. We already know that he does like shady blood ties and stuff like that, so I'm afraid that he's going to make, or like try to make, Everest use that illegal like stim stuff, or however they worded it, on her damaged hand, especially now that she's Kaiser's Fiersire, but we'll see. We never learned Prince Dragor's order in book 1, which I think is really interesting, so I'm excited / anxious to find out what his order form is. But since we never found out his order, one thing that always stuck out to me is it's in one of the later chapters, I forget exactly which chapter, but Vesper was hooking up with Cade during that like post-battle victory celebration at the Air Kingdom Palace, and she thinks someone may have seen them, but they like moved away very quickly. All it was like she sees the drape move or whatever. I kind of feel like that was Dragor, either using an unknown order gift or just spying in general and quickly running away so she doesn't know that he caught them. But 1, we don't know what Prince Dragor's order is, so I'm interested to know that. And 2, I think that he was spying on them whether that be using order gifts or just in general spying. I don't know. And then this is my last one. This one pertains to Zodiac Academy 8, 8.5, and maybe 9. Definitely 8 and 8.5. Just about like backgrounds / side characters, none of the main characters, but scroll away if you don't want any Zodiac Academy spoilers. But I think that maybe Bastion could be a descendant of Ren's, and that Ren once ruled Avanis, which Bastion being locked away in his dragon form for however long could be why Avanis has no current ruler, or they have like a very unstructured rule. I forget how Vesper worded it, but basically there's like seems to be a lot of infighting. I don't know. But Ren was the Terra House captain at Zodiac Academy, so obviously an earth elemental. And then Felicia ended her saga / overly detailed retelling in 8.5 by saying that Ren went on to be a great ruler in the Waning Lands, and that she and Ren would stardust back and forth to each other over the years. So when Ren was alive, he was a great ruler in the Waning Lands with earth magic and the knowledge of / access to stardust. The dragons being gone for so long would explain why the current Fae in the Waning Lands don't know of stardust. I don't know. I don't really know how that would tie into the story, but I feel like Bastion could be related to Ren. Those are some of my like thoughts and theories for going into book 2 and the rest of the series. Like I said, let me know if you agree, disagree, have any theories that I may not have thought about. I love talking about these things.